welcome back to Skyrim 10 AD, episode 30, it looks like. We're in session 10, we're in the third part of session 10, and last on the story so far, our young, well, not young in party terms, the old coot in party terms, Luke, just had a meeting of the minds with his with an old friend and his patron, his deity Kine, when he approached and laid his hands on the guardian stones, the warrior stone to be specific, led him to a vision that he is that Skyrim may be in much more trouble than it knows itself, and that maybe that this was the purpose that he was brought here for. So he, after spending the night, camped down, reflecting on his vision, sharing some, but not much, with his party, but saying that there is much work to be done. They bed down for the night and head out the next morning, and crossing the border from Falkreath Hold into Whiterun Hold, now heading towards the small town of Riverwood, known to Mouse, definitely, but also known very definitely by Botty as the first stop off of the Dragonborn, as he left and escaped from the tower that happened at Helgen Keep, as they head now down into Falkreath, into Riverwood. Septimus Vulpin is happy in the knowledge that he's following in the footsteps of the Dragonborn, and elated to have Butty following behind him, reminding him of that fact.
Humming a certain tune, I'm sure.
So
yeah, Ragnar the Red, right?
Purportedly, he this was within his wheel as his area. So you guys are heading down the road. There's the sun is now shining. The weather has not changed since you have reached the Guardian Stones. It is a lot better. It's a lot cleared up. It's still a little chilly for some of you, but not for you, Luke, or really for you, Mouse. You're used to it. But it's a lot better. It stopped raining. The skies are clear. The sun is shining for the most part. But you're heading downside. The view and the smells are spectacular. The fresh water is splashing down. Makes a hell of a noise. But it's a very pretty, very relaxing stroll as you head down the sides of the river, either on horseback or walking along with them as you're heading down towards the next town of Riverwood. Anything you guys like to discuss or accomplish on your walk down into Riverwood?
Well, do you all want to stop in this little town, or do you want to just head on straight through to Riverwood? There's an inn here that I know of. Orgnar is a bit of a... he doesn't say a lot.
Oh, but, dear Mouse. We all know that we must simply stop through Falkreath. Otherwise, how will we hear the 13-volume tome of the Tales of Faendal?
As I said, do you really want to stop in this podunk little town, or should we just move on towards Whiterun, where Jaguai has very pressing business to take care of?
There's a 17-volume tome also of the Sleeping Giant Inn, if you're interested.
Fine.
Also,
and Mouse, who always has stomach issues after eating salmon, make sure that he's walking ahead of Bati.
So, not too long, probably half a day's walk, probably from where the Guardian Stones were. You slowly head down, slowly dragging down. You see the spawning salmon heading up. Probably not this time of year, actually. You wouldn't see that. Yeah. But you head down towards, and you see the town off in the distance. As you head down and closer, you see that there's just outside of the town. You see the normal gates. Just outside of the town to the right, you see a small little cabin. It appears it's okay. It's built okay, but it's not a great thing. And on the front of it, you have two shields on either side of where the door is, with painted yellow with the motif of a ram's head on it, on both of the things. And as you can see, just above it, just says a guard's house. Looks like it's like a little guard where the guards would sleep, and sort of like, the ones who protect the city. It's probably a place where they can swap out and in and out. And you've seen it on your way through, Mouse, before. It's just a sleepy way place. So when they're shifting the guards out, end of shift. Sorry. So as you step into Riverwood, you look off to the left, and you can see as the river's coming through, you see the mill to the left, and the big wheel spinning around as the water is turning it down, and so on. You can see whereas an oldish man is slightly greying hair, and a slightly greying hair of a woman working on the mill. It's just the two of them. You see plenty of logs and trees and everything being worked out. And over, as you look to your left, you will see half, like 3/4 of a building that used to be the blacksmith. Their forge now gone cold for many years. Every time you've been through here, Mouse, you remember as you've walked past this blacksmith used to be the one that used to help run keep the mill in shape, but since the people who owned it died in a dragon attack, it's gone cold. So you do see that last time you were here, half of it was burnt down. The cover that was over where the blacksmith stairs, where the forge had gone cold, as now you see a lot more wood. It's come out, brand new wood, and somebody is there, youngish man, similar in sort of like age group to most of you, with blonde hair, sort of like working out, and he's building a new cover for the top of the forge, and you see loads of stoneworks and sort of like bits of bellows and bits of machines all thrown out to the sides of the old blacksmith. This hasn't been touched in many years. You've been through a couple of times, and it's the first time you've seen anybody working on it. Off to your right, you see the merchant, the merchant store, and then off to the future you see the sign hanging outside for the inn, for the Sleeping Giant Inn, as you cross in through the gates.
Well, Mouse is very interested in the improvements in the forge. He'd like to walk over and say hello. Are you
hello there.
Alvor's forge here? Are you starting a new business? My name is Mouse.
Oh, hey there. Yeah. Did you know? Because you wouldn't have known Alvor.
No. I would have known of him, but not personally. No. At least I assume I would have.
Yeah, no. My friend, a friend of mine, is coming back. You've been to Whiterun?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know the young girl who works at the forge up there. You know Dorth? Roll a history check.
12.
12. Yeah, no. You've never bought anything from the forge. You've gone past it a few times, stayed in the town, but you didn't have any long conversations, or pretty much any conversations with the people who work there. Yeah, you don't know her. He goes, she lived here. She, in the, well, you know what kind of, you're obviously from Skyrim, right?
Mm.
So you know what, you know what happened here. Well, she's coming back now. She's, according to Adrienne, she's finished, taught her all she needs to know, and she's coming back and reopening it. Not a moment too soon, if you ask me.
Oh, it's good to see.
Yeah, so I'm just helping her out and getting all ready so she doesn't have all this depressing thing to look at when she comes back, you know?
Hmm. Well, I'm glad to see it happening. Is Orgnar still at the inn?
Yeah, the old bastard. There he goes. He's still having to put up with that loudmouth bard, but no wonder he doesn't talk so much with that other guy talking too much, you know?
Well, we have a pretty good bard with us, even if she sings about certain something way too much.
A female bard. He goes, now that's something I can get behind. I'll probably be having my lunch soon. I'll probably see you over there. You heading that way? Or are you just passing through?
Well, I think we'll stop there.
Sorry, your name?
Mouse.
Nice. Nice to meet you. He shakes your hand. Frodnar.
Pleased to meet you, Frodnar. Or is that Frognar? I didn't quite catch that.
Frodnar.
Frognar. Sorry.
No worries. Gives you a wave, and so what would you guys like to do? Are you following Mouse, or are you going into the merchant shop?
Body always likes to swap stories, so she'll go over and find the bard.
So you're heading off to the Sleeping Giant Inn?
The Sleeping Giant.
Yeah, come on, buddy. Let's go have an ale. We'll leave Luke and Jaquai to do whatever they want.
You're speaking my tongue.
Don't mind Orgnar. He's a little gruff, but he's a nice guy.
You guys following?
Luke will stand by the. He'll stand by the river and just watch the river flow for a few minutes, and then follow, maybe 5 minutes behind.
Okay. As you're walking up and stuff, like, are you going to the river on, let's say, so between the gate and that you enter and the blacksmith? Are you turning left there and walking up to the river there, or are you walking?
Yeah, just right there. Just sort of. I see that we come into this. We come into the village, the city. I see the river. I just wander to the river and just
there's a little
watch the river flow for a few minutes.
Yeah, there's a little wooden walkway, so as you flows underneath it to the wheel, and you guys head up. See, as you're Jaquai, are you following the main party?
No, Jaquai's going to stay outside. He's going to walk around, check out the town, but also, find a quiet spot that he can, go through his routines and practice his forms.
So, as you're approaching the Sleeping Giant Inn, which direction are you going in, Jaquai? Whereabouts are you going?
I'll go from that south end up to the north. I'll walk out on the little island next to the sawmill, and back around.
Yeah, as you're walking past the sawmill, you get the two people on the mill itself working on cutting up the logs and stuff, like, having a look at that. And can we help you? This is a place of business? You here to buy some wood?
No, but could you use a hand cutting some wood?
No, we're fine. Thank you. That's what the saw is for.
Okay, well, I will, I'll just be on my way, thanks.
Okay. She doesn't take her eyes off you. She's just watching you, what you're doing. So, Butty and Mouse, as you're walking up and heading towards the Sleeping Giant Inn, you see the sign hanging outside, and just above it, you see a black raven sitting on the edge of the sign, facing you, looking at you as you're walking up towards the Dead Man's Tree. Make a perception check to both of you as you're walking up.
That is a 22 for me.
And 15 and 2 is 17.
17? Yeah. There's something odd about it. It's staring directly at the two of you. But it seems weird. You're more interested really in the sign, Butty, but you, Mouse, as you're coming up, because it's really weird, having the bird just stare directly at you. It's not looking around its place. It's not looking at it. It's just looking directly at you. As you're getting closer to it, you have a quick look, and its eyes are blue. It has blue eyes as it's looking at you. Everything is all jet black apart from its eyes. So, as you walk up, you sort of pass by it, and its head turns as you're walking past, as you're heading into the inn. Do you walk past it and into the inn, or do you do anything else?
Our mouse will just stop and turn and stare directly at the bird.
It sort of tilts its head and it stares directly back at you.
And mouse tilts his head in the opposite direction and continues to stare.
It lifts its beak up, its head up, so its beak is up, and stops there. But its eyes are still looking. And as you can look at it, it's got the outer part of its eye is white, and then it's got normal pupils, with blue irises.
What do you want, bird?
It tilts its head down, and then it turns and it looks at the door of the inn, and then it looks back at you.
Mouse decides to just head on into the inn.
So you head in. Do you follow him in, Buddy?
Body's gonna take a second, stare down the bird, maybe figure something out here. Played a lovely song on the flute. See if we can't form some sort of communication bond that way.
It's just staring at you. It sort of moves its head from side to side, as it's sort of because its eyes are nearly on the opposite side of its head, and it sort of turns around and sort of looks you up and down. It doesn't. At no point does it squawk or open its beak. It just blankly stares at you.
Body thinks this bird knows something for some reason. And will cast animal friendship to tell it means, Body means no ill will, but maybe this bird will reveal something.
As you're casting it, make an Arcana check.
Okay, I have to look that up. Arcana is intelligence +2. +2. Ooh, 13 only.
13. Yeah, because of you casting this spell at it, and you've seen how animals will react of when you cast a spell, whether it succeeds or fails. You know what happens, and what happens when you cast it on the bird tells you definitely that's not a bird.
Ooh, nice. Very interesting. I mentioned, but is Mouse already inside?
He's
I'm heading in.
He's in the middle of opening the door.
Okay, then Body actually just casts a side eye to the bird and hustles in behind Mouse to ask and see if Mouse knows anything about that sort of changeling bird type issue.
What does Mouse know?
Yeah, roll an Arcana check with disadvantage.
Yeah, thanks. Oh. Well, I rolled a 20.
And
a 3. Ouch.
You're like, that's got to be a danger, right? It's got to be some sort of like danger monster of some kind.
I just look at Body and say it's a fucking bird.
Body shrugs, hustles for a drink.
You enter it, and it's a nice, simple inn. It's one of your more preferred. It's definitely warm with that huge fire right in the center, and it's smaller than the one that's in Falkreath. So like it's much warmer, much more compact. And in his usual place, you see Orgnar up there, sort of like just leaning on the bar, sort of like head down. Looks like he's in the middle of reading a book, and you see nobody else in the bar. You don't see that pompous bard that just won't shut his mouth. But you see nobody else in the bar. Apart from when you get a little further in, you look to the right, and at the very back of the inn, leaning against the bar, there's a table. And sitting at it, so it's like a long table with benches running along it. So benches as the seats. So you got the table part, the seats are a part of the bench. And at the back, with the wall to his back, you see a man in robes sitting down. And on the front of the robes, there's a little design with 3 swirls next to each other. In a sort of like circular sort of pattern. And he's sitting there. And then on the table in front of him, there is no food. But to the right of him, there's about 18 to 20 bottles of ale next to him. Some of them with the cork still in, some not. And there's a staff on the table laid out, and the staff is long and a very dark green color. And at the top of it, you see a smaller black raven at the top of the staff that's hanging off the end of the table at the top of the staff. And he's leans over and he picks up a bottle of meat. Then you just see him take the cork out of the top of me. I just like literally down the whole bottle, almost the whole bottle in one gulp. So, and sort of like pushes it to one side, and that's when you see Orgnar stir, and he's like, "Another, my lord." And he's like, yes, and 2 for my friends, please." As he points to you, then he finishes off the bottle. What do you and Bottle do?
Well, Mouse is going to walk quietly over to the bar and greet Orgnar. Say, what's new?
So, not much. What do you
Who's the guy?
Oh, his lordship.
Yeah.
Oh, Warthol nobility, I think. Son of the... What's it? Jarl, probably. I don't know. I don't care. He's got lots of gold. And he spends it all day on booze. So, and he seems to be spending it on you. So, what do you want?
Yeah. I'll have a Nord mead, buddy.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'll join you.
Enough. He gets 3 meads and hands them to you. And he sort of like thinks for a second, and then he gets another 4 and then passes them to you again. And he goes, "Yeah, he's got quite the talent."
So I see a raven on his staff. Is that his pet outside the door there?
What pet?
There's a raven outside the door, just sitting there.
I don't get out much. They bring me wood. They bring me food. I just cook. I sleep. I serve food. I don't go much. But yeah, well, I suppose it's better than being in here shitting all over the place, huh?
Yeah, probably. Sir, here's your mead. Thanks for buying us a bottle.
I was thinking it was going to be Luke would be the first, but you were a very close second. Welcome, Mr. Volpin. Want to take a seat?
You know me, sir. I do not know you. Who are you?
No idea. I never met you before. Have a seat, buddy. Oh, it's going to be great to have somebody who can actually sing and not be such a blowhard. Have a seat and join me for a drink. Yeah. And then he just sort of like grabs one of the meads, pulls the bottle out, takes another big gulp of it.
Mouse does not sit down.
It's such a shame, you know. I came here expecting to meet somebody, and instead of meeting George and Anarchy, George and Lenny and Anarchy. It's not. It's Mouse and Greengrove and.
Sir, names are very powerful. You know many, but we don't know yours. Who are you?
You know. And he picks up the staff and he's sort of like, and he goes, "Come on, little Yorick." Mouse knows, and he taps the tip of his head and he goes, "Little Yorick." He knows. He probably not. He doesn't know. Roll a history check, Mouse.
Nat 20.
20. Yeah, you heard of this. The Ravens definitely spark it off. That's what when he says Yorick, and then you click both the Ravens. Yeah, this is Yorick, the son of the Jarl of Warthol. Jarl Ravenclaw.
Was it Yorick?
Yorick, the...
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I stepped out there. Pardon me.
Yeah. Yorick, and the son of the thing of Warthol. He's going to... Excuse me. Roleplay. Yeah, you know. Of course, everybody knows. He knows. They know. And I definitely know whether I fucking want to or not. And he takes off another stopper of another bottle of mead and starts downing that, sort of like pops it up. And he goes, "So, this is not so bad. It's been an okay day. So, yeah. What brings you here?"
I'm just passing through.
Ah. You're not going to join me for a drink?
Sure, okay. And Mouse sits down.
Buddy, you gonna regale us with a song or a tale? I'm not sure what I want to hear, but I'm sure it'll be good. And you see he's wasted, completely drunk, off his ass, wasted, and it's probably 11 in the morning.
Well, if you want a performance, I can tell you about a great one we had last night, buddy. Really should have been there. Let me tell you all about it. And
Mouse
Mouse
starts kicking her under the table.
So what do you start telling her?
Sorry.
And looks at her severely.
What would you like to hear, sir?
What were Anarchy and Lenny like? Did they smell? Did they stink? I don't like stinky people. They kind of smell. So
Mouse needs to just interject. Yorick, pardon me. I have to take a leak. And he looks at Body and just raises an eyebrow where Yorick can't see, squeezes her shoulder and leaves the inn and runs to find Luke.
Okay. So you head up. So as he's there and he's leaving, he's now picking up the empty bottles. So Mouse has just left. So it's just you, Ognar, and Yorick, and he's got the empty bottles and he's picking up all the corks and sort of like putting them back in. And just as Mouse leaves, you see him stop. And as you look at him, Body, you see his eyes go completely black. As you exit the inn, Mouse, you see the raven quickly turn its head to look at you, and then follows you as you're walking down the steps and leaving the inn.
Body grabs the lute and just starts strumming a nice song for him.
And he sort of like, he tilts his head. Actually, no, he doesn't. No, it looks like he is completely oblivious to you. Even as you start getting louder and louder, sort of like, trying to distract him, it's as if he doesn't hear a thing you're doing.
I step on his toe.
And suddenly he just snaps and he turns around and looks at you dead, and you see these kind of nice blue eyes looking at you. And he's going, "Oh, sorry. I was just having a look around and making sure there's nothing sneaking up on us."
Body plays it off as she's keeping the beat by tapping her foot by playing her lute.
Oh, make a deception check.
Oh, snap. Deception is charisma, which is a +3. That'll be nice. 18.
18, yeah. He's definitely buying it, and he's sort of like, he shifts his foot back out of the way, so you're but yeah, you keep on tapping along, and sort of like, so Mouse, you're heading outside?
Yeah, Mouse is going to notices the raven looking at him quickly and then and then losing its concentration. So he takes the opportunity to just dash around the corner where the raven can't see him, and then goes hunting for Luke as quickly as possible.
Yeah, Luke's just by the river. He hasn't wandered away. He's
right. So I'm going to recount the situation in the inn. How much does Mouse really know about this raven? Do I need to roll something for that to tell Luke?
What, the raven outside or
The
Yorick
raven?
Raven?
His Mouse's assumptions about the raven outside.
No, you just pretty much know it's weird. It's staring at you, and
Right, well, I can
it's
tell Luke
really
that.
freaking. And stuff like
Yeah.
you thought it was freaky, and was it what's her name? Botty cast an animal friendship, and she was like, "This isn't a fucking bird. There's something wrong here."
And this guy inside, who I do know of, anyway, or I know his reputation, correct?
Yes, you know that. Heard rumors of him.
Yeah, Yorick. So I'm going to tell Luke all of that, and that he knows all of our names.
So Luke sort of snaps out of a bit of reverie. And he knows us?
He knows our names. Whether he knows us or not, I can't tell, but he knows.
Body's in there alone with him?
I came to get you as quickly as possible.
And Luke just hauls it. So where's Jaquai?
I'm going to go find Jaquai. You go in.
Get Jaquai. Bring him here. Come quickly.
Yeah. Jaquai is coming down the road from the bridge.
All right.
And Luke beelines back for the inn.
And Mouse will go and recount the same thing to Jaquai, and then we'll head back towards the inn.
Okay. So you all head inside as Botty is plucking away, sort of it seems to be a random tune. It seems she seems to be just finishing off one song and start leading into another, sort of trying to keep him company. He's not doing much. He's not saying much. He's just sitting around talking.
Well, as Jaquai heads towards the inn, where's the raven?
It's on the sign, but it's just looking down at the sign. It's as you look at it. Make a perception check.
$21.
21.
Nice.
Yeah, it does seem strange. It definitely does not look like a bird. You've seen birds. You've killed some birds hunting them, and this definitely does not seem like a bird. But it's acting like a bird. They said that it wasn't acting like a bird. It's now acting like a bird. It's sort of moving its head, jerking it from side to side, and then sort of looking down and sort of slightly pecking at the top of the side, and then sort of looking up.
So Jaquai is going to sneak alongside the hedges by the inn and try to catch this bird.
Okay. See, well, yeah. If you're gonna go, you'd have to go probably completely out of its sight. So you'd have to walk around and go in behind the inn, and so then roll a stealth check for me, please.
21.
21. Okay, so what are you going to do? You're going to come up behind it and you're going to try to grab it to hold on to it.
Yeah, I'll leap up and try to grab a hold of it.
Okay, so roll an attack, but add your strength modifier, not your dex modifier.
You mean the -1?
Well, you're basically trying to grapple it, so it's not really of a dex thing. It's more of a strength thing.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping it was going to be an agility thing. So 10.
10. I believe its armor class is like 11. So I'm going to say that it, at the very last second, as you go through it, you hit the bottom of the sign as you come up behind it. It didn't realize you're there until the very last second, but just just as you're about to clamp your hands on it, it sees you coming and then just flies off, and it lands on the roof. Yeah, that's probably. You see no change in Yorick inside, Butty. He doesn't seem to be noticing anything. He's just sort of like sitting there drinking and sort of like enjoying you strumming along as Luke and Luke's just walked in.
Yeah.
Mouse, you're outside.
I'm right behind Luke, having told Jaquai, and so I'm on my way in.
And to Luke and Mouse, it's very obvious that Body is like trying to kill time, yet get someone over here. Come on, hello. Like she's making up like syllables that don't make sense at this point, and this guy still is just sort of like nodding along, and she's like, "Hello, what's going on here? Come on, guys, help me out."
He looks over as you come through, and he goes, "Hey, the gang's all here." Well, no, not the other gang, the rest of the gang, the real gang. But you guys are here. I suppose that's awesome. Goes, do you like ask Wilhelm? Wilhelm will get you a mead. It's on me. Have what you like.
Wilhelm, aren't you in the wrong town, Yorick?
No.
Where do you think you are?
That's the Vilmer in you. I was waiting for Lenny and Anarchy and I did, but you came. I was like, oh well, you were here, so we might as well have a drink. Yay! He grabs another mead and starts opening up, take another drink.
I try to catch everyone's eye and make little shaking noises of my head. What were you doing at the Vilmere?
We are at the Vilmere.
Sorry, I misphrased that. What are you doing at the Vilmere?
Say, I wait for the Lenny and Anarchy and what's her name? I don't think I got her name. Her name was no, I don't know. But yeah, I gotta. Well, or will they go in or they come in? They might come in or they might not come in. But if they do come in, then I'll be there. You guys should stay. You'll be able to hook up back and get the gang back together, and it'd be awesome. You guys going to sit down and go and drink? He sort of like, picks up one of the meals and hands it out to you, Luke, as you're walking in.
I take it and sit down beside Body.
Save me, Luke. Save me.
He's good at that. He's good at that. Aren't you, Luke? Good. Go, you saved Lenny. And now Lenny can save Anarchy and not be dead and
You have the advantage of us.
Oh,
how do you know our story?
I don't, and you don't really want this kind of advantage. It makes you look like an asshole. But luckily, the drink hides it with being a dick. No, bits and pieces, and Lenny was crying, and then you weren't there, and then you were there, and then he wasn't crying, and he was smiling, and then I was there, and George didn't have that skull, but still the scary eyes. But then we went, but everything was green. I don't like green. It's gross. It stank. But we'll probably get there eventually. As soon as they get here. Are you quiet? Whereabouts are you?
I'm standing as close to the door as possible, looking very annoyed. And, tapping his wrists, don't we have somewhere to be?
So like he rolls down and he goes, oh, I gotta take you. Yeah, leak. That's a good idea, Mouse. And he sort of like gets up, and he sort of like he sort of like shuffles off the end of the saddle and sort of comes around, heading towards the door. When you're not too sure how long he's been sitting here, but judging by the amount of bottles that's there, it's probably been like a good few hours of him not moving slowly, and suddenly his legs just give out before him, and he falls face forward on his face, just landing down right in front of where the door is. And he's like, oh crap.
I'm gonna run over and help him get up.
Yeah, as you're making your way, he's so like he's mumbling to himself, and all you hear, and he goes, oh, I said, that's why Frodnar was taking his lunch early. And then suddenly the door opens, and the door hits him and bangs him square on the head as he's lying down. And as he's looking up, you see Frodnar walking in through the front door of the inn. Going, what? He goes, Yorick, and he gets down on him. Yorick, you all right? You're how much have you had? God damn it! And he goes, starts helping him up, and obviously you go up and help it up, and so like, I'm fine. And just legs asleep. I gotta go for a piss. And he goes, well, don't do it in the fucking river. He goes, my mother nearly fucking killed me last night. And go around the back to the outhouse. You know where it fucking is. And he goes, don't give me any of that shit that you can't make it. And he goes, I took you out there last night. You know where it is. So he heads outside, sort of like stumbling and leaning on the fence for support. Frodnar comes in and sits down at the same table that Yorick was sitting at. And sort of like, as I look around, and he lifts his hand up and he goes, anything, just bit of meat, bit of bread, anything. Thanks, Ognar.
How long has Yorick been here?
Oh, about 3-4 months. He says he's waiting on Lenny and I forget the other guy's name. Sorry.
It's okay. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, he came here a few months ago. He says he's never met anyone quite like Yorick. He's interesting. It's funny when he's got less drink in him, but when he's got no drink in him, it's that's when it gets really weird.
Scary.
Yeah. Well, I felt for the guy, I heard all those rumors, probably like most people. But
When he's
you know-
sober, does he know where he is?
oh, yeah. The thing is, he's last night he was telling me that sometimes when he's sober, he knows too much, and that's probably why he drinks so much, so he doesn't know it. And knowing he just makes him sad. With all he's been going through, I find it amazing that he's managed to, do what he's done. He's going off to the college and becoming whatever it was, but apparently he's really good at it. Even Jarls all across Skyrim coming and send him letters and asking him stuff. I've had more than one courier come to our door in the middle of the night, waking us up, looking for him. But, it is what it is, I suppose. We all got shit to deal with.
Why does he think he's somewhere else?
What do you mean?
Hmm.
He said he's waiting here for somebody. What do you mean he thinks he's somewhere else?
Mouse isn't going to say anymore.
Okay. What about the rest of you? What are you guys doing?
I just
This
want
is
to
weird.
stop
Can we
playing
go?
guitar right now. Can I please just stop playing?
A few minutes go past, and you hear this sort of like stumbling through the door as he comes back in, and he gets in the seat and he sits down next to Frodnar, and Frodnar sort of like looks at him, sort of like puts his hand on his shoulder, and he goes, "You okay?" He goes, "Your friends here seem to think you're you're a little lost." Yeah, no, as I said, I'm gonna wait here for the guys to show up. Yeah. So, and then he sort of like instantly, completely changes demeanor, and he sort of like looks at all of you and says, "Stand together." And then he just takes kind of shakes out of it and takes another drink of his mead and sort of like goes back into his usual drunken stupor.
Yorick, where are Lenny and George coming from that you're waiting for them?
I don't. It wasn't sure. I was sitting here, and this is where I'm supposed to be. I think
Who told you?
nobody. Well, somebody possibly, but no idea. I didn't. It was kind of hazy. I was sort of sitting there, and Wilhelm was up there, and he's sort of like pointing to no. Wilhelm's up there. I was sitting here.
Mouse is looking over at Frognar at this point and raising his eyebrows. Anyway, go ahead.
He goes, and then just Lenny and Vinny come in, and then they sit down, and then they're talking, and then I go and say hi, and then we walk, and then there's like loads of green shit, and it's horrible, but if I'm not there, more than likely something even shittier is going to happen. So it didn't seem that shitty. I was, it was okay, but it was horrible. It smelled really bad. But if I don't go, then probably something even worse is going to happen. So better if I go. And sort of like Frodnar takes a little initiative from what you're doing, and he goes, he nudges them aside, and he goes, "You know that's Org now, right? You're here. Who's Wilhelm?" Wilhelm, man. I don't know. And he goes, I'm supposed to wait here at the Vilmer Inn, and then George and Lenny are anarchy, and then we're supposed to go. Man, sort of like Orgnar, Frodnar looks back at you and he goes, "Oh, right, you're in Riverwood. You came here and you said you were on your way to Iverstead, but you never left. You've been here like all the time. You've been with me." He sort of like puts his hand on the back of his hand. He's like, "You've been with me, right? You're staying with me out the back, well, for the past month or so. I know you've had a good view this morning, but this is you're Riverwood. You're still in Riverwood." Oh. No, I remember it. He goes, because I went to Whiterun with the lion and the hawk, and they shit. Well, it looks like I'm going to sleep. And he just sort of like gets up and just like walks out the door.
I think we're all speechless.
So can we go now?
Shaquai, hush. What's going on? How does he know us?
Well, you've heard the stories, right? He's, he hears voices. He was weird. But he's not. He's smart, and he's funny. He tries really hard to help people, but people being people just ended up shunning him and sort of like tell him that he's scary and horrible and that he shouldn't know the things that he knows. And when somebody knows things that you don't think that they should know, it scares them, so they end up treating him, throwing stuff, and yeah, well, I thought him being here with me was what he wanted.
Did you know him
wasn't
before?
No,
We just met him here.
Yeah. A few drinks and a few meals together, and talking about Dorth, and things just grew from there. And it was, as I say, it was when he's sober and serious, it does get a little scary. Sometimes he'll just tell you, "Don't leave and don't move." And the first time you hear it, you're like, "I'll be fine," and and that's it. You break your little toe, or you break a hammer, or so. But and then you listen to him, and you stand there, and then an hour later, and he goes, "Oh, aren't you going to leave? Oh, I'll see you later. It'll be fine." suppose anybody would be scared of that.
I wonder what he meant about the lion and the hawk. Has he mentioned that before?
No. He just said he was sitting here waiting for some guy named Lenny, and I didn't catch the other guy's name. But that's what he was waiting on. That's what he showed here for. And then he was just passing through, heading on his way to Iverstead. But then he's just been here for...
But that was 3 months, you say?
Yeah. He hasn't been sober in quite a long time. And when he is, that's when the headaches start. So... I'm going to go and see if he's all right. He's probably either throwing up or worse.
Is he staying with you?
Yeah. I've got my own place. It's attached to my parents' place, but it's still separate. You know what I mean? It's my place. It might be on the same building, but it's my separate space. But yeah, he's at least I thought he was with me. Anyway, thanks guys. Sorry if he scared you, but he doesn't mean any harm, and in fact he just tries to help. If people just give him the chance, then. But I will say, when he said that. When he had that look in his eyes, when he said that stand together, that's when when he says stuff like that, that's what you really got to listen to.
Yeah.
So I take that to heart.
Before you go, Frogner, one last question. Does he have sober moments in the morning?
No, it's usually after he gets some sleep. But he usually doesn't go to sleep until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and he sleeps until like 3 o'clock in the morning. And he's probably sober for about an hour at most, maybe, before he starts again.
Okay.
It's all I can do to get some food into him to try and soak up most of it, but maybe he'd be better off. Some people say he'd be better off without it. I don't think so. He seems he seems to be dealing with it the best way he can. Okay, I'm gonna head out. Thanks, guys, and enjoy. Finish the meats. He's good for it.
Okay.
And he heads out the back. Just as he's leaving, that's when Ognar is coming over with the plate of meat and bread. Looking at it as he's walking out. And you can see the lips move. You don't hear the words, but you can definitely see motherfucker.
It's okay, Ognar. We'll eat it. We'll pay for it.
Oh, all money's good here. And he sort of like puts it plate down.
Thank you. Wow. What do you think, Luke?
Luke is absolutely befuddled by all this.
Gobsmacked.
Well,
if he knows our names, but he's been here for 3 months, then if he can see the future, that future has already happened. That's all I can figure out.
And George and Lenny don't follow our path. Our path is...
Well, but all he's talking about happened before this. He's talking about George and Lenny before we first met them, isn't he? That's what he's talking about, the green stuff and making him sick and all of that. So everything he's talking about has already happened.
Yeah.
Or that's the way it seems to me. But I still don't. I can't figure out what he's talking about. The lion and the hawk. I mean, I can guess who the lion might be, but who's the hawk?
Who might the lion be?
Well, Jaquai, of course.
The hawk isn't that creepy ass bird outside, is it?
In my vision by the stone, I briefly imagined was given a vision of myself as a hawk. Jaquai is the lion. Might I be the hawk? I don't know, but Lenny and Anik, how does this person know of all this?
I can only think that he's got some sort of ability to see the future. I mean, Yorick was well known to be an odd kid. And the symbols. Those are the symbols of illusion. The three swirls.
Potty, you want to roll an Arcana check?
Yes. Arcana again was intelligence of 2. Oh God, no, 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not ringing. Nothing like this is ringing a bell with you.
Of course not. After that music performance, don't deserve it.
You know, we could really talk this over on the road to Whiterun.
What time is it anyway?
Drumming his fingers on the table.
It's like noon.
Yeah, it's noon. There's like 20 bottles of ale on the table next to you.
God,
It's like,
a carriage outside. We could be there by lunch.
yeah, it's 11s right now.
Okay. I understand, Jaquai. I understand. It's just such a surprise to meet somebody who knows all our names for no apparent reason. Doesn't that make you the least bit suspicious, nervous, cautious?
No, not really. And the state that he's in, he's not going any place anytime soon. So
That's a fair point.
And if we see that bird again, he's getting a dart. Because I mean, obviously the bird's a seeing eye bird or something like that. It's just weird.
Yeah.
But I really just want to get going.
Buddy, Luke, I'm here to guide you.
My path is forward, and I feel it's time to follow Jaquai's path.
Okay. I'm with you.
I need to put some distance between me and that old man.
All right, well, let's go. Let's gather the horses and get the heck out of Riverwood. Or Dodge.
You guys finish up the meal and pay off Orgnar just for the food. He says that all the drinks are paid for by Yorick, and he bids you farewell. And he goes, thanks for stopping in. Be safe on the roads.
Anything we should know about Orgnar?
Yeah, don't get off the road.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. About what I expected from you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so
was
you guys
Delphine.
yeah.
Sorry. Never mind.
Yeah. And two legendary dragons sweep down out of the sky and land on the inn on Mouse's head. Anyway, so you guys head outside of the inn and come outside, and to the left you see the mill and the shop, the merchants. It looks like you can turn left, guys who don't know it, and head back up in towards the mountain areas, and head like a back way up to Helgen. There's another sort of like exit gate that way, another road, back road it seems. But you can also turn right, and that it seems to be the way Mouse is nodding to head as if you're heading off to Whiterun.
Well, Mouse is going to lead the way that way across the bridge. So we're traveling across the bridge. Nice bridge.
Hey, body. I bet the Dragonborn walked across this bridge.
Body gets down and takes a pencil shaving of the stones that the Dragonborn probably trod across.
Mouse steps on Jaquai's tail. Oh, sorry. Clumsy me. Must have rolled a 1.
Indeed. So that was definitely some weird stuff.
Yeah, that Yorick, he's got a reputation, I'll tell you what.
So where's he from?
Morthal. He is the grandson of the Jarl of Morthal.
And that's in Skyrim?
Yes. It's
Okay.
it's not far from Solitude.
And that's
It's to the north.
in Skyrim?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to go to the Bard's College, right?
What's that, buddy?
I said we're going to go to the Bard's College, right?
Eventually, yeah. But I don't think we'd want to.
After we find your dumb brother, I mean, we got to do my thing, right? Come on. What's fair is fair.
I'm down with that.
Yeah. I think we need to find out what Yorick knows.
We're not done with that guy yet, of course.
No. But I think it's true. He's not going anywhere. Unless it's following us.
Now, it'll be hard for him to follow us with his bird dead. I was so close. I mean, tail feathers almost had him.
Yeah.
And it just slipped through my fingers.
Somehow I think the bird has more up its virtual sleeve than being caught by a even so wily and agile a Khajiit as yourself.
We're going to have to keep an eye on the sky as we travel and at night.
That's a good point.
Keeping an eye on a black bird at night is going to be very difficult.
Well, do any of you guys remember seeing or hearing a raven before? I don't remember. It may have just escaped our notice.
Yeah.
No?
I do not recall, but I wasn't, attuned for it specifically. You know what I mean?
No,
It
I
could
wasn't.
have happened, but
Yeah. All right. Well, at the far side of the bridge, we're gonna head to the right here and head down the road. Luke, if you look up, we're very close to that barrow we saw up there from the stones. It's called Bleak Falls Barrow.
Yeah, Luke will look up, but it's just so Luke is overwhelmed at this point, so he doesn't know what to make of the things around him.
So one of the things that I have to do in Whiterun is make contact with the Khajiit caravan. I'm carrying a letter from Jarl Sidgir, essentially making a peace treaty with them since they had such a bad problem with them before with that Soloff guy. And so they lost trade with the Khajiit caravans. And it hurt their economy greatly, and so they're looking to get back in their good graces. So I have a letter for Rasad to try to mend that bridge.
Well, hopefully the caravan will be there when we arrive.
True.
Roll a history check, Mouse. Sorry about that earlier. I was saying crap, but I forgot I was muted. So sorry about that.
We were all vamping away there. I thought
sorry about that.
Gone off.
It's about to loot out again.
Okay. Let's see. I don't have good history. Oops, my PDF has gone behind things there. And it's a 12.
12. Yeah, you wouldn't know if it was there now or not, but you do know that it's probably every other week that it shows up. It's pretty regular that they show up. It's stuff like, they try and keep the distances between they travel quite short, seeing as they're now the probably the most secure caravan on Skyrim's roads now. They're the ones who transport most of the goods from one place to the other, doing kind of like a delivery run, but for cargo for a lot of businesses, not just their own. Seeing as they're so well respected of being able to travel and sort of like, run a business in the middle of a civil war and a dragon attack. They pretty much impressed everybody with their resolve and sort of like their work ethic. It's probably why they're afforded the place up in Dragonbridge. So as you're heading across the other side of the bridge, you do see Bleak Falls Barrow, but he says it's close, but it's at the top of a fucking mountain, and it's covered in snow. You see that like half the top of it is like, in the clouds, and you're like, that's like probably a good 2 days there and then 2 days back with a bit of climbing. Although it is a path, you can walk it all the way up. There's no climbing involved, but it's still walking up the side of a mountain. So, and judging with your recent talks with Jiquai, maybe now's not the best time. Botty, you know that Bleak Falls Barrow, the only thing you know about it is that the Dragonborn did venture in there to retrieve a stolen golden dragon claw. That's all you know about the story of the Dragonborn and Bleak Falls Barrow, is that he headed in there apparently on his own and faced off a band of bandits on his own after first arriving in in Riverwood.
Body doesn't know a ton about it, but she does know it was one of the early adventures of the Dragonborn. Yes.
So can we make it to Whiterun before nightfall, or is it another day to get there?
No, you're looking at 3 days.
3 days.
I would say that it would have been about 3 days from Fall Creek to Riverwood. No, to the Stones. Another probably 3/4 of a day to get to Riverwood, and then another 3 days from Riverwood to Whiterun. And you guys crest over with the river on your right hand side, slowly going. It's getting steeper and steeper. The hill and also the river you see start to steep down, turning into small waterfalls as it's gradually going down, turning into severe white rapids. And then you finally crest the top of this hill, and you have a look out ahead of you, and all you see is big, massive open plains leading down into vast farmlands. And in the distance, you see this enormous city, the city of Whiterun. And at the very top of this hill, surrounded by stone walls, at the very top, you see this large keep right in the center, right at the top, with a little sort of like kind of wooden sculpture at the top, sort of like denotes, and you know that's Dragon's Reach keep at Whiterun, the capital of Whiterun Hold. And we'll get into that next time on Skyrim 10 AD. Thank you, everybody. I'd like to especially thank all of my players who have been awesome and taking up doing all the vamping when I kept on, dying and stuff. And this was probably one of my favorite episodes, last episode and this episode, for fantastic character interactions and sort of like, not arguments, but sort of like back and forth between sort of like Botti and I forgot his name, Talsgar, and then we had quite a lot with Mouse and Jaquai and Luke and everybody all sort of like talking across each other. It was great. I had a lot of fun. And thank you very much, guys.
It was good.
Thank you, Colin. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. The scene at the Stones was great. It was really good, Colin.
Yeah, very well done.
Thank you very much, guys. And join us next time on Skyrim 10 AD.
Thanks, everybody.
Good
Thanks,
night.
all.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Skyrim 10 AD would like to thank Tabletop Audio for the use of their music in this podcast. If you would like to find more music like this, just go to tabletopaudio.com for more information. Thank you.
Thank you for downloading this edition of Skyrim 10 AD. Email the show at skyrim10ad@gmail.com. For more information, please visit asapodcasting.com, where you will find a Skyrim Addict podcast, the Fallout feed, and our Amazon link, which benefits the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Find our social media in the show notes. Thanks for listening.